My name is Petra Wilder. I live in Ocala, Florida. I have been exposed, obviously, to the PEMF therapy method for quite a while through my veterinarians and chiropractors. Researched it for a long time. Was actually referred to by my chiropractic vet to Andrew. Spoke to him quite a few times and then decided to buy the 8000 Pro and have been having a wonderful time. And probably the beneficiaries of all these are my horses and my clients' horses that are quite happy that I have this machine, obviously, now. So that's where that is. Good.
So what types of things do you use it on for your horses, and how does it work?
So I use it very often for pre-performance, like a warm-up, basically what we call a quick treatment. Especially if I have a horse that's tense, that is, going through some physical issues, has come into my training, or I have recently purchased a horse that has been in a what we call accelerated training program, maybe somewhat a little bit uptight about everything, mentally, physically. So I like to use it like this. And then usually a very easy once or twice a week, as I call it, a treatment for boys that have been very good and very helpful to me as a trainer. And my clients' horses I see usually on a weekly or monthly clinic program. And I would say that the number of treatments that I give is probably equal to the number of lessons that I teach throughout those clinics, because my clients have realized that this is quite a lovely method of supporting a horse in a training program. And that, and we're probably going to get to this later on, what the benefits of a treatment like this, but I like to use it pre-performance as also as a weekly or monthly, from some of my clients' horses, a treatment program to help them, develop correctly and to be overall more relaxed and happier as an equine athlete.
And so is there any way that you can tell if the horse is appreciating or enjoying the pulsed electromagnetic field therapy?
Yeah, pretty much. My older stallion, that is a 17-year-old Grand Prix Lusitano stallion that I have had for the last 12 years. And he's prone to be a little tense sometimes, but he literally watches me walk out with the machine and the coil over my shoulder, and he starts to drool, literally.
That's great.
And because he gets so excited, come out, he very much enjoys doing this, and I don't even have to tie him. He stands there and just rests his head either on a nearby window or something that he can lean his head on, but he literally sleeps pretty much the entire treatment, and and then wallows back into his stable. So it's pretty much, I know my horses really love it, and I actually use it on myself as well, because as you can imagine, being a trainer, we have our aches and pains as we get through life, and really quite enjoy that treatment. Actually, when I'm done treating my horses, I usually still a few waves, as we call it. So, So
that's great. So what do you feel? What are your benefits personally from the PEMF technology?
So I am actually, I suffer under Lyme's disease, have had it for years, and have an inherent heart condition from that. And I usually don't let that slow me down, but like usually when I overwork and, I have a row with a horse or something like this, I get very stiff and very tense, muscle sore mostly, and also have some arthritic pain starting in this time of my career, basically. And I feel that even with just a few minutes of treatment, even with the equine coil, I can go ahead and feel pretty immediate relaxation. And then I have felt working with the PEMF, treating horses, actually have horribly arthritic hands from holding reins for many, many years, and trying to manage 12 to 1,400 pound horses on a daily basis, most of them stallions. I find that handling the coils on even the horse, basically the arthritis has improved manifold. I can't even tell you how much I've enjoyed noticing that my hands don't hurt as much anymore in the morning. And, so I've noticed that just by handling the coil, I have immediate effect on my hands. And then, like I said, I do steal some waves, usually after I'm done treating my horses, and goes in my back. I have had pretty severe osteoporosis from the Lymes and has obviously been downgraded now, but I feel that the bone pain, the arthritic pain, muscle pain goes away in a few minutes time, so.
Wow, that's great. What do your clients tell you about how they feel about PEMF?
I find that they're hard to convince in the beginning. So usually what I do is I give them a quickie treatment on their horse, and I said, well, go ride this horse now. So I usually do it before they have a lesson with me. I treat a few key points since I know my clients' horses pretty well as a trainer, basically. And I treat areas that are tense on the horse. And then within a few minutes getting on the horse, I usually go around and say, we can't believe it. And I said, well, you should see it, what happens after a real treatment and not a couple minutes worth of.
Have you looked at other machines or compared other machines to what Andrew sells?
Yes. My veterinarians.
And how does this compare?
And then we have been. I find that it's easy to operate. I can adjust better. I have some horses or some animals. I do treat some dogs as well. I do have some animals that are very sensitive, maybe I should say. And I find that this machine in particular, compared to some of the other machines that I've been exposed to, it's easier to work with. It's kind of a foolproof way. I didn't have to read a huge instruction manual.
Mm-hmm.
I just was able to start working with it and getting familiar without making big boo-boos, and finding that I either overlapped the horse or I didn't get to the point with something. So it's, to me, very easily adjusted. And usually my horse can tell me it's either too much or not enough. So they've learned to kind of, let me know. My clients' horses as well, like, you can turn it up a little bit, or no, that's a little much, can you on this spot can you go a little bit down, and I find it very easy to operate as a therapist, basically.
So from your experience, how would you summarize for somebody who doesn't know what PEMF is? What is it and what's it good for?
Well, I would say pre-performance, post-performance, long-term muscle tension, arthritic treatment, basically. I think it's a definite therapy that I've researched for many years, and I've always come back to this particular treatment and then to this particular machine. I find it extremely helpful in an athletic program for horses and an athletic program for people. And, my dogs obviously have enjoyed the mat greatly. I've got a 19-year-old dog that is riddled with arthritis because she's so old, like Methuselah, and she loves to sleep on the mat, actually. And I just turn it on a little bit, and she takes a nap for 30 minutes on it. And she's pretty spry for a 19-year-old little dog. And
wow.
I do contribute that to being able to sleep on the mat, So, yes. I have been exposed to a lot of other therapies. I don't want to say any names, but I've always come back to this particular therapy. Have enjoyed it for many years through other therapists, but recently, because I have my own machine that I really dearly love, been able to spot treat horses, not have to wait for therapy. So I can only recommend it for any trainer that is interested in supporting a good training program. I can only really recommend this machine.
So it sounds like you use it for both maintenance and for injuries, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. My good horse has been injured severely during the last show. And I think that without this particular treatment and this machine, my horse would not even be able to be slightly ridden again. So we're hoping that he will make a full recovery. But I am heavily relying on this therapy at the moment, I have to say.